Hello, third grade. Well, we are here to do our history lesson on Washington's cabinet. Now, we've been talking about George Washington being our first president and how he had set up many precedents. And if you remember what that word means, it means an example. So he had been an example to all of the other presidents that followed. So yesterday you should have read in your history book pages 57 through 59. So today we're going to discuss that a little bit and then go over the answers to the activity page that you should have completed. So as we're going through this, we're going to think about, our listening questions are, what are the responsibilities of the president's cabinet? And then who is head of the executive branch of the government? So when we talk about a cabinet, we're talking about people chosen by the president to give the president advice. Now, the president has many different job titles, and we're going to see a video to wrap this up today, and it's going to go through the many different things that he's responsible for. He cannot do everything. So he gets himself people who are good in a certain area, who are expertise in that area, and they are the ones who will advise him and give him their opinion and whatever it is that they have learned on that particular subject. So let's look at page 57 in our history books. Talks about George Washington, how he became president. He had a lot to do, and the president is the one who leads the executive branch. Before, we've talked about the three branches of government. We have the legislative branch, we have the Supreme Court, judicial, I always have a problem with that word, judicial branch, and then we have the executive branch. The president is the one that is in charge of the executive branch. And even in the video that we watch, it'll give all of the different things that the executive branch is in charge of and who is included in that executive branch. So when George Washington became president, he knew that he couldn't do the entire job of being a president all by himself. So he chose four men, and our book tells us that he chose Thomas Jefferson, he chose Alexander Hamilton, Henry Knox, and Edmund Randolph. These are the four men that he chose and trusted to be his advisors on his cabinet. So Thomas Jefferson, who later became our third president, was chosen as the Secretary of State. He was the one that helped America get along with the other countries. So if we had problems with Britain or France, Thomas Jefferson would be the one that would step up and make communications with that other country and try to get us to be friends again, to get along with each other. Then we have Alexander Hamilton was chosen as Secretary of the Treasury. Now, when you think of Treasury, you think of money, right? So Alexander Hamilton became the Secretary of Treasury, and he took care of all of the nation's money. And of course, at this time, there were taxes that people were paying. So Alexander Hamilton was in charge of all of this. Now, in your reading, you probably read where Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton had different opinions about money and where the money should be kept and who should take care of it. Alexander Hamilton thought that America should have a national bank where all of the money was kept, and that money would be there to be used to help the American people, to pay our bills, and so forth. But Thomas Jefferson had a total different opinion. He did not want the national bank. So those two, even though they were George Washington's advisors, they're the ones who gave him, information and advised him on certain things. They disagreed, but still they were friends. So see, you can have friends and disagree on things. It's okay. You don't always have to agree 100% with your best friend. You can agree to disagree. And that's what Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson did. Then we move on to, so we've gone over President, we've gone over the Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury. Now we come down to Henry Knox. Henry Knox was the Secretary of War. He was the man that was in charge of the military. So if there was a country who needed help, Henry Knox would be the one that would decide, okay, we need to send troops to this area. Or if we needed more soldiers, he would be the one to make that decision and go out and try to, at this time, I think pretty much everybody participated in the military. So he was the one that was in charge of that. Any military decisions he made. And then we go down to Edmund Randolph, who was the Attorney General. Now, the Attorney General was the one who made sure that all of the people obeyed the national laws. So he would meet with governors and mayors, and he was the one that took care of all of that. And so these four men were the men who formed George Washington's cabinet. So these four men were the ones who helped the President Washington complete all of his jobs, all of the tasks that he had. And he put a lot of faith in these four men. He put a lot of trust in them, that they would make the right decisions. They would hopefully make the decisions that he would make, and he trusted them. And of course, I'm sure there were many times when they would go to George Washington and they would say, this is what I'm thinking, what do you think? So they would always refer back to him to find out what his thoughts were too. Okay, so let's go back here. What are the people who helped the president called? They're called his cabinet. And those are people who give him advice, who he trusts, and they're the ones that help him complete his job. So what is the responsibility of the president's cabinet? The main responsibility is to help the president, that should say to help the president do his job, not to his job. So I'll have to make that change there. But they are there to help the president do his job and to complete it. Now I wanted to show you here how times have changed. This is President Trump's cabinet. So there is President Trump there. There is Vice President Pence. And all of these men and ladies around this table are the ones who help him complete his job. Now, when I was small, I used to think, man, these presidents, they must be smart. They know everything. They know about nuclear warfare. They know about the moon. They know about going into outer space. They also know about foreign affairs, what other countries are doing. They must do a lot of reading. Well, little did I know that as I got older, the president has all of these people in his cabinet who help him. And they are the experts. They are the ones who keep track of what's happening in Russia. Do we need to have a meeting with Russia? Do we need to send troops to Russia? So these men and ladies are the ones who give the president updates of what's happening around the country. And I'm sure he meets with these people on a regular basis. and I'm sure our Vice President Pence meets with them on a regular basis. And so that is the way that he keeps track of everything and what's going on in America. So his cabinet is very important to him. He needs to have people there that he can trust, people that he can lean on when he needs good information about what's going on in the country. So it says here, established in Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, the Cabinet's role is to advise the President on any subject he may require relating to the duties of each member's respective office. So President Trump's cabinet includes, of course, the Vice President, Mike Pence, and also 15 other departments. So if you think of that, the President has a cabinet of at least 15 people plus the Vice President. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of people to keep track of, and I'm sure he does an excellent job at that. And these are people that he trusts and he knows will give him good information. So just wanted to show you the executive branch here. These are all of the people that are in President Trump's cabinet. And even whoever becomes our new president in January, these people, they may have different names, but these departments will all be a part of their cabinet. So as you can think of it, the president has an awesome responsibility to lead the United States. So just wanted you to get a look at that and to understand what exactly is a cabinet that is responsible to the president. So now we're going to watch a video here. Hopefully this will work with me recording about what exactly is the president and what is the president's job. So let me see if I can get this to work. No, it doesn't look like it's going to work. So you know what I'll do? I will stop the video and then I will add it into another link so you can watch this for your own.